guys, welcome back, or welcome if you are new, and welcome to a 24-hour reading vlog, but spooky edition. So to celebrate the spooky season, the end of autumn and the kind of beginning of winter, I wanted to do a 24-hour reading challenge where I solely read scary books, spooky books, witchy books for 24 hours. I am so excited for this. It's been so long since I did a 24-hour reading vlog, so I cannot wait to finally be doing one, but especially one full of horror books. I will say I am planning on sleeping in this video. I'm not somebody who can definitely stay up for 24 hours, but I will try. To be honest, if the books are that scary anyway, I probably won't even be able to sleep, but I am planning on just reading for the next 24 hours. So if you want to see me be scared, keep on watching. So I do have quite an extensive TBR for this video. I'm very aware that I most likely won't get to all of these, but I definitely will be trying to get to most of them. We have a variety of spooky books, or what constitutes as a spooky book, and I think the two most relevant ones, or the two most accurate ones, are going to be The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. I've been wanting to get to this for months. Ever since people started raving about it, I was constantly so intrigued about the plot twist, what this book is actually about, because I've only heard rave reviews. I will say I have read a Freida McFadden before. I think it was They Never Lie, whatever that one was. I read it and I wasn't a huge fan, so I'm kind of skeptical about this one, but very excited. It's probably my most anticipated thriller, the thriller that I've been wanting to read most for the entire year, to be honest. So this is probably one of the first ones that I plan on picking up, and one that I feel like will probably keep me awake at night. And then the other one that is more horror is A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. I recently spoke a lot about this in my November TBR, and all of my excitements to read this book, because it is essentially the sequel to A Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Obviously it is written by Elizabeth Hand, but the Shirley Jackson Society deemed it as the sequel. They gave her the privilege and the opportunity to write the sequel of A Haunting of Hill House, which is insane. I am a huge Shirley Jackson fan, so I feel like this book is going to go one of two ways. I'm either going to be obsessed and I'm going to fall in love with it and just never stop raving about it, or I'm going to be extremely critical of it, and I'm hoping it isn't that and it is the latter. But I'm very excited because I have heard really good things. On the back it is blurbed by some incredible authors, so I feel like by that knowledge I should absolutely love it, but I definitely am a little bit skeptical, but hopefully this one terrifies me too. We then have a more campy horror, and that is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. This is a book that has been my TBR for about like 2-3 years now, shockingly long, and I still haven't read it, so I'm definitely using this as an excuse to hopefully finally pick it up. If not, I am honestly going to unhaul it because it has been so long, and at this point I just need to accept defeat if I'm not going to pick it up this month. So hopefully I do get around to this one. I have heard incredible things about it, and just the campy horror, like 1980s vibe. I do feel like when I get around to it that I will love it, because it is also Grady Hendrix and I've heard incredible things about his book. So hopefully I do finally get around to this one. And then I have another two sort of horror books, but these are horror manga, and these are both from Junji Ito. We have Tombs and Frankenstein. I haven't read a Junji Ito collection in months. I used to read one at least every single month of the year, and it has been so long since I last did that, and I honestly have so many on my shelf that I still haven't gotten to, and these two are my most anticipated ones, alongside Uzumaki, but that one is huge and I don't feel quite prepared to read all of that in 24 hours. So I'm not sure whether I'll get to just one of these or two of these. If I do only read one, I'm not sure which one it will be, but I definitely want to read at least one of these, at least one Junji Ito collection, and I'm very excited to get back to it. And then the last book on this TBR that I'm not actually reading yet isn't necessarily spooky, but it is definitely witchy, and that is Like a Charm by Kerry Barrett. I don't know too much about this, but I do believe that it is like a witchy rom-com, kind of in the likes of The Ex-Hex. It is incredibly short, which is why initially I thought it would be a great idea to pick it up now. And honestly, because of how short it is, I don't think I want to know too much before going into it, but on the back I think it says it's set in London, so that is exciting. I do love a London setting, and I just love a witchy rom-com. I feel like it's perfect for this video. And then the last book for this video is one that I am actually already in the middle of, and that is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I'm currently listening to the audiobook for this. I think I'm just under like halfway through, and I'm really enjoying it at the minute. It is a YA fantasy, very gothic, romance involved, kind of Death is a narrator, Death is a character, which I'm absolutely loving, and I'm finding it so fascinating. And I do do feel like I'm going to want an audiobook because I kind of want to go out to a cafe, so on my way I might listen to the audiobook, and I feel like because I am in the middle of this and it is definitely spooky, this is perfect. To tell you specifically as to where I am currently on chapter 1. I'm not on chapter 1, ignore that. I'm currently in the middle of chapter 19 and there are 46 chapters, so just under sort of halfway, and I'm really excited to carry on reading it. I'm hoping that, not that it gets better because I'm definitely enjoying it, and honestly I'm loving the gothic vibe more than anything else. I'm definitely intrigued to see where the plot carries on going. So that is my very ambitious TBR for this video. Very aware that I'm not going to read all of these in 24 hours, but I can try. So it is currently 1:33. I did want to start this at 1:30, so we're just going to call it 1:30. If I need to take a couple of minutes off tomorrow, then I will do that, but it does mean that I will be reading until 1:30 tomorrow. And yeah, let's just get reading. I'm so excited.
We'll have to be quick. Always rather the carriage thunder down a gravel road. Should anyone discover a woman's without it, we'll have even more of a headache than we do now. Sigma couldn't quite make out his response, though she thought taking a seat at one of the tables.
Okay, so it's been about 40 or so minutes. I've just been listening to Belladonna whilst I just sit and wait for a video to upload. And I'm now on chapter 23. I have 6 hours and 43 minutes left, but I am listening to it on double speed, so just over 3 hours. So it's definitely doable, and I'm about to head out to go to a cafe. So obviously I want to bring a physical book to read with me just so I'm not listening to the audiobook. And I think I'm going to bring The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, just because I feel like this one is one I'm definitely going to want to cuddle up with tonight, as it's dark and dreary and I'm like reading it by candlelight and like seeing what the plot twists are like. I feel like that's going to be really fun, so I do want to make a start on this, so I'm going to bring it. I also want to bring another one just in case I decide that I just want to focus on The Housemaid tonight as opposed to Out Now. So I might also bring Like a Charm by Kerry Barrett, just because it is so short and I'm definitely in the mood for like a witchy rom-com at the minute. And yeah, like I said earlier, I don't really know too much about what this is about at all. I know it is a fairly new release, but because it is under 200 pages, I feel like I can read the majority or a big chunk of it out in public in the cafe, and it could be fun. So that is the plan. I'm going to bring this and The Housemaid and kind of go between the two, see which one I fancy more in the moment. So I'm really excited. Going to cafes to read or to write or to like edit is one of my favorite things ever. I've always been a huge lover for going to a cafe on my own, but there is something about doing it. This looks insane. But there is something about going to a cafe when doing like a 24-hour readathon that is just so cozy and so fun, so I'm very excited. I am also really craving a oat vanilla latte, but also I just wish I was a pumpkin spice girly. I've never been somebody to love pumpkin spice, but actually when I was in Edinburgh, which that video and vlog will definitely be up before this one, I tried a pumpkin spice macaroon or macaron. If it was wrong saying macaroon as a French person, but I tried a pumpkin spice one and I really didn't think I was gonna like it, because I'm not somebody who loves the flavour of pumpkin, just because it's always the scent that I go for in autumn. All of my candles during autumn are pumpkin scented, so when I taste it, it just tastes like I'm tasting and eating my candle. So I've never been somebody to like it. However, I really wish that I had some like autumnal spice in a drink that I was obsessed with. So maybe we'll try something else. Maybe we'll try like a chai. I don't know, I can guarantee you I'll still get an oat vanilla latte, but might be adventurous. So yeah, I'm gonna go run for the bus, get into town, and I will see you at the cafe. So I just got home. I am absolutely freezing. It is so cold out now, so I'm really excited to warm up, have a shower in a second, and just read for the rest of the night. But I did start The Housemaid whilst I was out. I'm now on page 93, and this book is interesting. I did write down a couple of things as I was reading it that I definitely wanted to mention, because I am enjoying this. It is a really quick read. I mean, I've already read 93 pages. I definitely did not expect to read this much of it out. Absolutely a page turner. It is flying by, which I'm so happy with, and it means that I am somewhat enjoying it, but the gaslighting in this book is insane. So we are basically following Millie, our protagonist. We know that she has been in prison for the last 10 years, but we don't know why. And finding that out on page 1 instantly initially made the book like so gripping and thrilling, and like we just want to carry on reading to know why she was in prison for 10 years. But she has now come out of prison and has been looking for a job. She is living in the back of her car, so she's also homeless and is just looking to get her life back on track. So she basically applies for a bunch of jobs, doesn't get any, but she also applies for this nanny maid house job and she does get it. It's at this like really lavish home with this really rich family, like millionaires. And obviously when she gets this job, because she is being turned down by every single job because they are looking at her background and her history and seeing that she's just come out of prison, she is so confused as to why she's got this really lavish job, or so she thinks, at this house. Like, did they not do any background checks on her? So that is basically the premise of this book. She starts working as a maid at this house. She's like the cleaner, she makes their food. And Nina, the wife of this home, like she runs this home, is a bitch and she gaslights Millie non-stop, and it's actually infuriating me to read. Before I get into that though, I will say that this book definitely is good at kind of making me want to carry on reading. Right at the beginning, when Millie goes to this house and she is shown her room by Nina, she goes into the room which is the attic room, and there is like a lock obviously on the door, but only from the outside, so she cannot lock the door from inside, but people can definitely lock her in. And the cherry on top of the cake is when she actually goes into the room, she closes the door, and from the inside she can see scratch marks on the door, like someone is trying to claw their way out of the room. Girl, run. That would be my first instinct, but no, she stays. And I can absolutely understand that she's obviously desperate for work and she's living at this place, so it's a home and it's a roof over her head, but she's not really questioning all of these things going on. Like, she does it at a surface level, but she never really raises a concern with Nina or anyone, and it's just, I don't know, I feel like in this scenario you would to an extent. Like, there are scratches on the door, you're being gaslit so much. But either way, this book is a really quick read. I'm very intrigued to see what like the plot twist is going to be and where it's going to go, because I've heard that it gets a little bit crazy, so I'm kind of intrigued. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this somewhat at the minute. It's just a little bit frustrating to read in a good way. I suppose that is doing its job. But right now it is 5:15. I will also say that when I was out, I did also listen to a little bit more of Belladonna. I am now on chapter 30 if it wants to focus, which means that I only have about 2.5 hours left, which is really good, and I will definitely hopefully be finishing it tonight, if not tomorrow morning, as I make myself some breakfast. But for right now, I'm gonna get in the shower, I'm gonna have some dinner. I'm no doubt gonna watch some things with my housemates like we do every single night, but I definitely will be reading more of The Housemaid. Hopefully I might even be able to finish it tonight, I'm not sure, but I am playing through it, so fingers crossed. It's been a couple of hours since I last spoke to you. I showered, I had dinner, I had a little like reading / writing session with my housemates, which was really nice, and I read a lot more of The Housemaid. I'm now on page 279. I have this much left. And this book, honestly, as I was reading it, this has been an experience. I felt for so long that this had to be satire. I was kind of laughing my entire way through the entire thing, but now that I'm at the point where I'm at, I can understand a little bit more why certain things have been happening throughout the entire book, like the gaslighting. I'm obviously not going to give spoilers, but it does make a lot more sense now, and I'm not still 100% loving it just because I feel like a lot of this book doesn't sit right with me, but it is making a little bit more sense. I'm not obsessed and I'm not sitting on the edge of my seat. Like, I'm just laughing my way through this book, and I don't feel like that is how it was intended to be read, which, I mean, everyone has their own experiences. But so yeah, as I said, I'm on page 278. I will definitely give a whole review probably tomorrow, to be honest, once I have finished it, just so then I can get straight into reading something else for tonight. I don't know how long I'm going to stay up for. I didn't even tell you the time. It is currently 11:23, so it is fairly late. I don't know what time I'm going to stay up till, but I definitely still want to get a little bit more read and will 100% be finishing this. Yeah, I think I have about 50 pages left. I'm now gonna sit and just finish this, and then I will give you my final thoughts. I just put my battery on charge just so I could talk to you once the book was finished, and I was reading a little bit more, just trying to finish the book. And for context, I'm on page 310 if you just wanted to check if you have your own copy, because I don't really want to give spoilers right now. Maybe in my review tomorrow of the book I will mention when I do go into spoilers. I just got to page 310 and I had to instantly put the battery in the camera, because I'm just like, how do you jump from what just happened to this scene, like, with no explanation? Like, how are we not gonna see that? I mean, we might do, but I only have a handful of pages left. That's like what the book has been coming to, right? Like, that's the climax and we didn't even see it. I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna carry on reading and then I will let you know what I think. So I just finished it, and I don't think I'm going to go into my thoughts right now. I think I'm going to go into them tomorrow, just so I can sit with them a little bit, but also actually be able to go into my thoughts and it not be too late. But oh my god, this is not what I thought it was going to be at all. For better or for worse, I'm not sure, but yeah, I feel like I need to sit on my thoughts and then we'll talk about them tomorrow, because this book, it is now 11:55, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start one more read. I don't want to get into bed because I'm feeling really tired and I want to stay up as late as possible reading, but at the same time I want to be comfortable, so I think I am gonna get in bed or like sit on my bed and read a little bit more. I don't know what I want to read now. We have the very extensive stack here, so it will be one of these. I'm not sure which one. I feel like the ones I'm gravitating towards most, if I want an actual novel, I definitely want to read A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand, or at least want to start it before the readathon is over. I might try and start this one tonight, see how far I get through, but if I don't want to read a novel tonight, if like words, I'm just a little bit too tired, I think I'm gonna go with Tombs, just because I really want to read a Junji Ito and I love curling up in bed with one of his books because they are terrifying and then I fall asleep and I get to have nightmares. How fun. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do one of these. Honestly, I'm just gonna get into bed, pick up A Haunting on the Hill, see if my eyes are willing to focus on words, and if not, we'll do Tombs. Good morning. The eye bags are real today, and I say morning, it literally isn't. It is currently 11:12, so it's noon. I really did get up a lot later than I wanted to. I honestly wanted to wake up a little bit earlier, like 9 latest, and just have a really nice morning reading, but I was so tired last night. I don't know what it was, but this morning I even struggled getting out of bed this late. But saying that, this morning I did finish Tombs by Junji Ito in bed, and it was such, I was gonna say such a nice reading experience, but I don't think reading a Junji Ito is ever a nice experience, but it's definitely a fun and a gruesome one, and I loved this collection so much. So I think that this is one of his newest collections, and honestly probably one of my favorites. Normally with a Junji Ito collection, 9 times out of 10 I don't love every single short story in the collections. I love a handful of them or the majority of them, but never really all of them. And this one I really did. I feel like this is the perfect one to read around spooky season. Obviously they are all horror manga, so they're all gruesome and they're all a little bit scary and gross, but this one, I don't know why, there were a lot of haunted house stories, a lot of body horror stories as usual with Junji Ito, and I just loved it. Definitely one of my favorites. I ended up rating it 4 stars, but oh my god, some of these stories, like the slug one, I think I took a clip of when I was reading it, but it was disgusting. But like, how do you think about that? How do you come up with that? And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Rated it 4 stars. I'm definitely in my Junji Ito kick again. I really want to read Frankenstein. Honestly, if we have some time, I might pick it up. Probably won't finish it because the readathon does finish in an hour and 15 minutes, but I did finish Tombs, so I'm very happy about that. Last night I also started A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. I really didn't get far because, like I said, I was knackered. I got 34 pages in, and there's not really much for me to say at the minute just because I'm really not that far through, but it is so nice reading a book that is deemed as the sequel of A Haunting of Hill House. Obviously, as I said, I think in the intro, I am a little bit skeptical about how I'm going to feel about it. I'm either going to love it and feel so much nostalgia towards it, or I'm going to be a bit too critical, but at the minute I'm really liking it. I'm really intrigued. This one too has the backdrop of COVID and the pandemic, which is so interesting because I've never reached for a fiction book that includes COVID because it's still a little bit too close to home and it's not something I really want to be reminded of in my fiction books. But I feel like for this book it's going to give such an intriguing and an interesting backdrop of isolation, because in haunted house stories anyway there is already so much isolation just from the house that I feel like having the added isolation of society because of the pandemic will just add an extra form of feeling like claustrophobic. And I'm so intrigued to see how Elizabeth Hand is going to do it, so I definitely want to read a little bit more of this before the readathon is over. I think once I finish this clip, this is the one that I'm going to start or carry on reading. And then obviously last night I did finish The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I promised you guys I would give you my thoughts. I rated this 2 stars. I will say that this is obviously a page turner. I flew through it. I don't think that was necessarily because of this readathon. I think I would have flown through it even more perhaps if I wasn't filming the readathon. Although saying that, I definitely may have been more inclined to DNF it because I liked this. It was fun, but I feel like the fun element was me kind of ripping it apart and being really critical. Like I said, this book is a page turner. If you are wanting to get into thrillers, I feel like it would be a really good one, but equally I feel like it is kind of an extremely bog standard thriller where not too much happens, but equally a lot of cliches in the thriller genre, and the reveals did happen. One of the reasons I was so excited to start this book was because I heard a multitude of incredible things about the plot twist, and I don't even know, like after reading this I was like, what was the plot twist? Like we had a couple of reveals here and there, nothing too groundbreaking, but the way that people were talking about one big plot twist, I was just a bit like, I don't even know what the one big plot twist that everyone was talking about was, but that may have just been me. But this was interesting. I feel like I could go into a lot of spoilers and my thoughts surrounding the spoilers. I honestly actually might, so skip to this point on the screen if you don't want to hear spoilers. So going into the spoilers, I think one of my biggest gripes with the book and the end of the book was how Nina and her morals just completely switched by the end of the book. So obviously I know that her and Enzo came up with this plan for Nina to escape Andrew's kind of torture and his abuse by getting another woman involved and making him fall in love with her, which I don't know, morally, I don't know, you do you. But I feel like if you're gonna do something that extreme and that morally, like I understand it to a level because she wants to escape the abuse and she doesn't want to be around him anymore, so maybe this is all she thought or all they could come up with in terms of her having her own freedom. But I feel like that is a very extreme way of, and just I don't know, I think morally getting another woman involved and you know what he is like as a person and you're just sacrificing this one girl, that I feel like to completely switch that by the end just because Enzo said to Nina like, look, we've got to save her, this isn't right. I don't know, it just felt a little bit character development for me, but not in a good sense. And I just had a massive gripe with it because I feel like it was just added in there for the ending's sake, and I don't know. Also, when it came to finding out why Millie was in prison for 10 years, the entire book we were being like strung along waiting to find out what this was, and I feel like the reveal, she just liked killing someone, like for better or for worse, women's rights or women's wrong, I will support it. I just feel like the way it was revealed fell a little bit flat for me, and honestly there were so many other things with this book that I didn't like. I can completely understand, and I think I said right at the beginning about how this book is 99% just Nina gaslighting Millie. Well, the entire book, to be honest, is one big manual on how to gaslight somebody, and I understand that Nina needed to make it look like she hated Millie, so the easiest way was to just treat her like absolute shit and just gaslight her 24/7. But I do feel like, I don't know, maybe it was just because it annoyed me so bad when I was reading it, that the fact that there was an ulterior motive for her doing that, and then the switch in morale at the end, I was just a little bit like, I don't know, I just don't think this was for me. I don't think I'm going to be reading the sequel despite the rave reviews that it has had. I have seen people say, when I was looking through Goodreads reviews when I finished it last night, I saw a lot of people say that the second one was better than this one, but I don't think I'm going to reach for it unless it's going to be for some sort of video. But that was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Unfortunately, I don't think it was for me. Ended up rating it 2 stars, but I'm happy I read it. But yeah, right now it is 12:24, so the readathon has just over an hour left. I think I'm going to have a really cozy reading session of A Haunting on the Hill whilst I finish my cup of tea. It is really gloomy and raining right now, so I definitely want to cozy up and just get as much reading done as I possibly can. Oh my god, I didn't even tell you about Belladonna. Wait, I also listened to a lot of Belladonna when I was out yesterday, and I have an hour and a half left, so I probably will not be finishing it in this video unless I up the speed, in which case I actually might whilst I do a little bit of errands, and then I'll get to reading A Haunting on the Hill. But yeah, we're just gonna read for the next hour, see how much we can get read, and I will update you as I go. As I'm reading this, I'm reading through it and I'm reading all of the character names, and I'm really for the life of me trying to remember what everyone was called in the Hill House book. I read it years ago. We're talking like, oh my god, like 4 or 5 years ago. I feel like I definitely should have reread it before reading this, and I do have the book, so I could basically start it, but I don't know if I want to reread it right now. But I do definitely feel like if I reread Hill House now, I would probably be getting more out of this, but albeit I'm still only on page 43, so I could change in my feelings there, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Wait, what? This is the most random thing. What were the chances of me filming? Oh my god, so today, wait, no, I don't know if she's joking. So today, this is so random. Hosier tickets for Finsbury Park next year went on sale. Oh my god, stop. But I was like, I don't really have the facilities for that right now. I'll just see if there's tickets at a later time, knowing that there probably wouldn't be, or the resale price would be absolutely insane. My sister just messaged me. Wait, she put Merry Christmas Leah and Jordan, my boyfriend, from me, your favourite twin, and it's tickets to see Hosier. What were the chances that I was randomly filming that? My mum is gonna eat this clip up.
No, you're going. Do you want to see the order confirmation?
Okay, so it's now 1:38, which means that the readathon is now over. I did read a little bit over the time just because of how distracted I got from my sister getting me Hosier ticket. But I read a little bit more of A Haunting on the Hill, and I got to page 132, so I read about 100 pages, and I'm really enjoying this. I feel like obviously I have gone into it with pretty high expectations, and I don't know at the minute if it's living up to them. I think I need to read a little bit more before I make that judgment. But it definitely doesn't have the gothic vibe, the gothic writing that I kind of expected / wanted, especially obviously like Shirley Jackson was a queen at her craft, a genius, especially when it came to the gothic. She really was so incredibly talented, and her writing was just so eloquent and carried notions of the gothic in every sentence. So initially I kind of went into this expecting the same. Obviously I'm very aware that they are written by 2 different people, but this being deemed as the sequel of Hill House, I thought there would be similarities in that aspect, and at the minute I don't feel like there is. I am enjoying it though. Where I just got up to, the group, our protagonists, have just got got to Hill House and they are really questioning whether it is haunted or not. They ask a lot of the locals, they ask a lot of the people who are frequently visiting the house to see if it's haunted, and they are all given their own little responses and being like, yes, but it's not haunted in the way that you would assume with ghosts. It's more like an entity, which is my favorite thing, or not my favorite thing. I have many favorite things about the Gothic genre and about Hill House as a book, but I do think my number one love for the book is how Hill House is its own entity, is its own character. It's one of my favorite things in the Gothic genre and I love it so much. It's something that I even write about in my own works that hopefully people will see one day, but it's just a driving force for my love for the Gothic genre, and I love that that is being spoken about in this. So I am definitely enjoying it. I'm still very intrigued to see where it's going to go and to see where the similarities come from and if there are that many. But yeah, like I said, 132 pages. I will definitely carry on reading this, but not for this vlog. So if you want to hear my thoughts for it, keep your eye out for my November wrap up at the end of the month. And then I did listen to about another 10 minutes of Belladonna, so I have over an hour left to read. Obviously I didn't finish it in this video, which is a shame, but I do feel like I still got a good chunk of reading done in this video. I didn't finish like 6 books, but to be honest, my reading has been a lot slower than it has been the last time I did a 24-hour readathon, so I'm very proud of myself. And obviously, just to go through them again, I did finish The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I gave this 2 stars, and then Tombs by Junji Ito, I gave this 4 stars. So yeah, that is the end of this readathon. I am already so excited to do another one. These are absolutely some of my favorite videos to film, so I hope that you also really enjoyed watching it. If you would love to see me do another 24-hour readathon with a specific theme, please do let me know. I definitely plan to do some in the next couple of months that I'm very excited about, but if you want a specific theme, please let me know. And yeah, as always, if you have read any of the books that I mentioned in this video or I also read, please feel free to let me know your thoughts. I would love to know what you thought about them. If you did enjoy this video and you are not yet subscribed and you would like to see some more content from me, I would absolutely love to have you here. I have some really exciting content coming in the next couple of weeks, especially spooky, festive content, and I cannot wait for you all to see it. As always, don't forget to leave this video a massive thumbs up. I really appreciate it and it really helps me out. And yeah, thank you again so much for being here and for spending some time with me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again very soon with another video.